You're going to sing about gout?
He's just going to sing the word gout and see if JT can make an opera out of it.
Let it all
Gout. No, that's good.
What song is that?
Mikey A wrote the.
I know it's called
Shout.
Shout.
No, that's not Tears for Fears.
No, it's not Tears of Joy.
Tears for
might
Fears.
be. Is it? No, it's not.
I don't think it's Tears for Fears.
Here, I'll just look it up really quick.
It's Tears for Fears.
Oh, it is?
Is
Yeah.
it?
Oh, I was right then.
Shout.
Very controversial. That was on the No playlist we were talking about before
Ooh,
at the wedding.
really?
Yeah. Shout was on our wedding No playlist.
Oh, like
Or was it the
the
other
Animal
Shout?
House song? The Animal
Well, which
House
one are you
version?
talking about?
No, we're talking about Shout.
Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears.
Shout.
No, that
Like
one.
a mid
Let
'80s
it
song.
all out.
That's
Shout wasn't on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
He meant the other
we're
Shout.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
You're talking Twist and Shout, right?
No. He's
no,
talking
I'm
about
talking
the one
about, like,
from Animal House.
Yeah, they play it like every
Twist
game.
and Shout.
Yeah.
You know, you make me want to shout.
Yeah,
Oh, that one.
Twist and Shout, Stugotz.
I mean,
that's
Animal
the
House. I mean,
The Beatles, you know.
yeah.
It's not far away.
The Animal House version is better than the Isley Brothers version.
Oh,
That was by the
completely
Beatles?
agree. Completely agree.
The
No,
Beatles didn't have a song in Animal House.
No, the Beatles was Twist and Shout. You know, Twist and Shout. Twist and Shout. Come on. That song.
Yeah.
Overrated.
But Billy
Yeah,
was
agreed.
talking
The
about a
entire band.
DNP playlist at his wedding.
Yeah.
And I would have been really disappointed if I went to a wedding and I didn't hear the song Shout.
No.
Would have made me sad.
No.
What do you mean no?
There was an energy there, my friends.
No, I'm sure it was a great wedding.
A baby was made after my wedding. I'll tell you that right now.
Whoa.
That's
what?
right.
That's a
It wasn't
baby.
yours?
Not mine. I was told by guests.
Oh,
I was told by guests a couple weeks later. We found out that they were expecting, and they're like, "That was after your wedding."
Wow.
And I said, "I should be the godfather of this child."
Are you
Like,
are
this-
in spirit.
I'm not the godfather.
In
of the child.
spirit, you are though, because they were conceived around your love.
But
They,
the kid kind of got his head stuck in a couch the other day, so he seems like a bit of an idiot. So I'm glad that he's not my godchild.
Right. Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a godfather. Dan, you're a godfather. Is it fun being a godfather?
Yeah. Do you feel like a sense of responsibility as a godfather? I said a couple weeks ago that I don't think I will ever be a godfather, and I've kind of accepted that. But what does it feel like being a godfather?
I am the godfather to 3 children, and it is a very spiritual journey that involves that if the parents die, I, the rich man, will be responsible for their children.
I was gonna ask that. Like,
You were a good choice.
yeah.
Huh?
Do you
You want to
pray
be Evan and
like,
Rachel's godfather? I mean,
Am I not already?
like every day you like wish or hope or pray or whatever, like light things and set them into the ocean, hoping that those parents don't die, so that you don't have to like be responsible for these children
It is.
forever.
It does make things complicated. It's usually. I felt like it was an in case of emergency thing, like the first 12 years. I feel like after that, I'm not responsible for anything.
I think
like
18 and you're off the hook, right?
Really, that late?
Well, yeah, because that's when they're like adults and you just send them away off into the wilderness.
So you're basically like keeping track of any time they go on vacation. And like, I hope you get back safe.
Fly safely, yeah. Like, hey, I noticed that you were driving on icy roads. Maybe you want to put chains on those tires.
text me when you land. Right.
No, but one of the things, it's going to be very awkward because one of my godchildren that I have a close relationship that is at least tied to sports, he is now a Seminole, which is obviously the
God.
enemy, and his father now works for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh,
so,
boy.
It's just a nightmare. Our allegiances. In fact, he's been taunting Mike Ryan via text on FSU and Hurricane stuff. So he's now the enemy.
How old is this person?
He's in school at Florida State.
Okay, well then you're fine. He's in college.
Yeah, you're good.
Past 18, not your responsibility anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
did it. You raised him. You're
Congratulations.
Good.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Excellent
You now have
job.
children.
Success.
Success.
Success to have kids. I mean,
Right.
yeah,
This is
that-
Great news. Yeah.
Billy, I could not believe your enthusiasm and your rage last night.
I have a weird energy today, Dan.
Well, you do. You have a weird energy today, but it's carrying over from last night. So I want to get to. You are trying now very hard to revive the K-Mart franchise. You are working. I've heard you working in the shadows, working in a way that I don't know why this is the one that captured your attention. But Billy is now pouring maximum Billy into trying to revive K-Marts.
Sort of. I'm trying to, I would say, repurpose
One in
existing
specific.
Kmart facilities, really for my own amusement and entertainment, and the benefit of my community, but more so because I think it would be funny. Stugotz yesterday was in a sales meeting, and he doesn't even know that I was going to do this. But I don't know if it matters if I say this. We can just set it out if it does. we're planning another Moss at some point, right? So we're kind of trying to dot the I's and cross the T's and get all that sorted out. But along with that, there's site visits and where we're going to do it and all this stuff. And I thought to myself, this perfect place. There's an abandoned K-Mart on 8th Street and like 122nd Avenue that is just a massive building. Now, I would imagine that there's no electricity in this building or air conditioning, so that's something we would have to sort out.
Now you're making it a high school party. You're making it one of the parties that you went into high school at a warehouse somewhere in the Everglades.
I love those parties.
I actually went to a party at a warehouse by Tamiami Airport, which is now called something else.
It was a great party, right?
It was ridiculous
Yeah,
because there was like tiles or whatever it is that the warehouse was for just all around us.
For those of you who do not know, Billy the Anarchist is now on the executive track. Hopefully Feldman doesn't listen to this.
Feldman is just the bane of my existence.
Okay, what
does nothing but get in the way and create headaches.
He'll
Stugotz
start making
loves
calls
him.
right away. I do like Feldman.
Well,
He's-
because
yes.
this is part of the problem is that now I get a double dose of Stugotz in these meetings because Stugotz has included himself in these meetings, and him and Feldman just kind of take it to like a whole nother territory that was not on the agenda or anything. It
We're
gets
just trying
out of
to help
town.
you out, Billy.
Yeah,
That's all.
well, you're helping someone out.
Well, Billy is on the fast track to executive stardom, and he has now noticed, as we have climbed up into the machine, that radio sales or its equivalents have a lot of Stugotzes, and it's why I've been feuding with the bald guy in sales since before ESPN, because sales does nothing but get in the way of everything that we're doing here.
He's the opposite. He is like too excited about some
Feldman
of these
gets
things.
shit done is what
Feldman
he does.
does get shit done, but most of it is like unsanctioned, and it's like, where is this coming from? How did Roy end up with a new car? Stuff like that.
He's got me on a bright line doing like a Heat pregame show.
I have
That's true also.
I have walked by Billy, and Billy's trying to buy yachts and trying to buy mansions and trying
The
to
houseboat.
And so I want him to
man.
do this. I want him to do this with the DraftKings money as we start to try and build out.
Waste it.
Well, I mean, you would look as if I have to give you permission to do that. Every time I'm walking past you, I see you concocting some other plan to waste their money.
One day, one will come true.
But before we get to K-Mart and your reviving of K-Mart, because this was a genuinely wonderful sports weird moment last night where Billy was both enraged, but delighted. The Marlins, in trading Marte, got Jesus Luzardo. And he's one of these guys in baseball, and there are a few of them all over the place. This guy's left-handed, and you're like, oh, my God, 99 miles an hour, curveballs. What he just did, he struck out 12 guys in 5 innings, Wise Mattingly taking him out.
76 pitches. Don't get me started on that. Donnie already starting. He's in mid-season form, Don Mattingly.
They've won one game, but that's as pissed as you've been, right, since like Ichiro. No, that he took out Luzardo.
Well,
when
no,
Luzardo
since like 2 days before when he didn't start Jazz, which was a whole
Right.
other thing. This guy, I don't know what he's doing.
Jazz hit a homer last night, right?
He did. Did you see who he hit it in front of?
No.
Oh, you missed it? It was the weirdest thing. Charlie Sheen was at the game wearing a Jazz Chisholm shirt.
What?
Apparently, he's a big Jazz fan, and they've spoken on the phone multiple times. So,
I have a tweet from Charlie Sheen.
oh,
What a day. Thank you so much at J_Chisholm3 for the mind-blowing thrills of watching you play today and the honor of meeting you afterward. My sons, Bob and Max, will never forget their first game.
I didn't see Bob or Max in any of the shots that they showed, but Charlie Sheen
So
was there.
Charlie Sheen's kid named Bob.
Really?
Bob Sheen?
Bob Sheen.
I don't like it.
Or
is it Bob
That's not a young
Estevez
person.
or
That's not a young.
Estevez?
There's no.
Yeah.
There are no
Boto.
young Bobs. I don't think.
Did Charlie Sheen's kids, like, is their last name Sheen or is it Estevez?
It's Estevez.
Right?
Are you sure?
I don't know. Did he change it legally? Probably not.
I assumed that I assumed that Charlie Sheen wasn't great about the paperwork.
Because like Hulk Hogan's daughter for a while was making music as Brooke Hogan, but that's not her
But
name.
it's a pain in the ass to change your name. Like you've got to go do a bunch of different things in order to change your name. You can't just show up at an office one day and have your name changed. It's annoying.
So you think he's still like on his license, Charles Estevez?
I just don't think that Charlie Sheen has handled some of the details in life. I do think we have to go now after Charlie Sheen because you just said that he was wearing a Jazz T-shirt?
He was wearing a Jazz T-shirt, but it wasn't even like
Like a jersey?
No, it wasn't even like one of those. It was like one of those like homage shirts or whatever that they like make like with a cartoon of him that has like a saying. It said like smooth jazz or something like that. It had like his profile like batting. He's a big Jazz Chisholm fan somehow, and he went to the game. They spoke it on the phone before. He went to visit him, and then Jazz hits this moonshot that looked like it was going to be a pop-up to the second baseman that just kept carrying and went out. And Charlie Sheen is like standing, and he's just like, wow, 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 over and over again, having the time of his life.
Why?
Watching Jazz. I have no idea.
Emotional. Charlie Sheen is weeping in the stands. Well, let's...
He was more excited than some parents are that they're interviewing when their kid hits their first major league home run. Like, you know how sometimes you have like the, oh my God, they got called up, what do you think? And then it's like, boom, home run. And they're like, they're so excited. Charlie Sheen was 5 times more excited than any of those parents.
Luzardo's family was there last night when he was striking all those people out, and they were less excited than Charlie Sheen was.
Yeah. He still has that metallic tooth.
I think a lot of his teeth are fake.
Thank you for clarifying.
No, I know.
Yes.
They I would assume so too, right? But like, I thought the days of like metal teeth went away.
But I think
Dentistry has changed.
I think all of his teeth are fake. I think he burned through a crazed, drug-addled time, and it had a lot of baseball in it and a lot of baseball parties in it because he partied with those Reds teams of Rob Dibble and those guys.
Dibs.
Now I regret bringing up his teeth. I'm sorry, Charlie. If you're listening, because who knows what you listen to? You're a big Jazz guy. Maybe you want to listen to the show today to see what we talk about.
I'd like
Jazz-related.
to get them on either together or apart. I'm guessing we'd have an in with Charlie Sheen who would want to be on the show just if we said we'll talk about nothing but Jazz, your relationship with Jazz Chisholm.
We're more likely to get Charlie Sheen than Jazz Chisholm. I'm telling you. I don't know if the Marlins like us. They like Billy. They like Chris. I'm not certain they like the show. Well, I could be wrong.
Billy, but you'd like to talk to Luzardo, right? After this is their fifth arm. This is their fifth arm.
Oh, no.
What are you knowing about?
Billy had he made
It was
a
a deep sigh. It was a deep sigh.
Yeah.
He was excited last night.
I was excited last night. And then Donnie Baseball did Donnie Baseball things, and he just decided everyone needs to play. All of our pitchers in the bullpen, I felt bad for a couple people yesterday, right? I felt bad for Dan. I felt bad for Chris Cody. I felt bad for Josh Appel, and I felt bad for Brendan Tobin because all of them were just getting crazy texts from me, just complaining about everything that was going on. Absolutely everything. I kept calling our bullpen pitcher, Zach Duarte. I'm like, look, Zach Duarte is on the mound again. How is this going to go poorly for us? Because you knew as soon as he took out Jesus Luzardo, we're going to lose this game.
Who
and
responded
they blew
to
the
these
lead.
texts?
After a while, no one.
Okay.
No.
Was this a group text?
No, these were,
Okay.
Dan and Chris Cody were a group text. The others were solo texts that I was just firing off anger. I'm like, I need to talk to someone. I need to vent to someone about this. And my cousin George, but you guys don't know him.
Stugotz, I'm not joking when I tell you, and I don't know if Billy knows this, but the original strains of whatever it is that this is around here start with college friends in the middle of the night doing exactly what it is that Billy was doing last night, where he's a dad now, post-pandemic, things are crazy, but the Marlins and sports can do this to him where he becomes very quickly what baseball was to me as a kid when I was watching it with my grandparents who had nothing positive to say about anything and described even a championship Yankees team as nothing but outs dressed as baseball players. Like this is the childhood I remember as grandparents screaming that Mattingly, in fact, that Mattingly was.
He's been doing it for decades, Dan. This Mattingly just frustrating people. I didn't see the movie about him, but I imagine that's what it's all about, right? Is how he's the most frustrating person in baseball history. Mattingly.
You last night, I love to love sports this way, where you care so much that you're just unreasonable. And in the 7th inning of a getaway day at Anaheim, when you're enjoying watching Trout and Ohtani.
Shohei overrated. That was my favorite. I'm learning very quickly in this baseball season that there are fans of baseball that follow me apparently and do not like when I do things like that. Like, I was excited about Jazz's home run in San Francisco, and I found out, wow, a lot of Giants fans follow me, and they did not like my happiness about Jazz hitting a home run. And then yesterday I just tweeted because Shohei Ohtani struck out 3 times, almost a golden sombrero. And I just tweeted out Shohei overrated with like OH, like 'cause his last name's Ohtani. Get it?
Yeah.
And so I tweeted that out, and then I had people after the game, because that's the thing, is that you can't do like in the moment shit talking, because it always blows up in my face. And as soon as I did it, I go, I know they're going to lose this game, and this is going to come back, and people are going to laugh at me for this. But in the moment, I was feeling good after he struck out the 3rd time. It was really for the joke more than anything. So then, of course, after the game, I had people, oh, well, at least we got the dub. At least it's like, yeah, well, whatever. Mattingly.
The Marlins have beaten you down. They've beaten you down a little bit. But Charlie Sheen, you're now a little bit of a celebrities team.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen has a relationship with your most interesting player. Charlie Sheen, who was Wild Thing in a movie where I guess Willie Mays Hayes would be the equivalent of whatever Jazz Chisholm is. Just
that's fair, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Jazz is more of a Roger Dorn.
Really?
Roger Dorn, the stiff, rich third baseman?
I just didn't want to compare him to the black guy. Yeah.
Oh, it's a heady play. Yeah,
but the showy leadoff guy, the showy guy with speed who's got Charlie Sheen as a friend. It's more in character, but it is the black guy. Agreed. Transitioning awkwardly.
But this Mattingly, he got off the hook. We haven't talked about what he did yet. So, guys, he took him out of the game after the 5th inning with 67 pitches. He had 12 strikeouts. He struck out like 5 in a row. Just took him out of the game.
What was his reason, though?
Because he's an idiot. What do you mean, what was his reason?
That was not his reason.
It wasn't
Billy
because
said
I'm
an idiot. That was not his reason.
Because of pinch hitting or anything. That's not why he did it.
No,
because it was a 1-1 game at the time, and it's like, okay, so like he's not going to get a win. He's going to end up with a no decision because it's a 1-1 game. He's not going to get a quality start. Not that that matters because it's just like a stat, but it doesn't matter because he's not going to pitch 6 innings. He just took him out of the game, I guess, because it's early on and he wants to preserve his arm or blah, blah, blah. But like, come on, Donnie. We're not going to make it to October. I mean, I guess we will to like October 4th because the season's going long. But we're not going to make it to real October if you keep taking out people and blowing games like this.
That is a terrible job.
Every game counts, Stugotz.
You're trying
These
to
games count just
yes.
as much as the one in September when we should be in a pennant race.
You're trying to get your 2nd win of the season. Your pitcher is dealing. Listen, when a dealer is dealing, you let him deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And put it on the poll, Guillermo. When a dealer is dealing, do you just got to let him deal?
He had the hot hand, Dano.
When a dealer is dealing, do you have to deal with just letting him deal?
But so the reasoning would be, we've seen this a lot in the playoffs, when the last strikeout of Luzardo was the Angels' 9th hitter. So when he began the 6th inning, it was going to be his 3rd time around the order, and that seems to be the line of demarcation when you take a pitcher out
12
3rd time for the order.
5, they really seem to be figuring him out.
Whittingham, thank you, because as this show ages as sports fans, I'm very pleased that you were yelled at earlier this week for talking about overframing. I saw some of that last night from the Marlins catcher. Some overframing and
Stallings.
And as we read some of as we learn more and more about baseball, I do think that Billy and the way that he cares is going to be made crazed by baseball changing so much that what I'm about to say is so. These shifts make it, computers, they really have gotten good at knowing where guys are going to hit the ball. It's that these shifts work, and it's the reason that they keep doing them. So that's one change.
Well, Donnie should be putting guys in the stands because when Anthony Bender and Anthony Bass come in, that's where the ball goes.
That's right.
And Billy is railing against things that Chisholm he's batting 9th, Stugotz, because they've got a 2nd leadoff man situation because of how they're using these lineups, and you don't want your pitcher to face a lineup for a 3rd time because the math swings in the other favor when guys have gotten a couple of chances to see you.
But if he strikes them all out the first 2 times, I mean...
I understand what you're saying, but Billy's longing for a different time here, where he is... The thing that this is where it's fair, I think, what Billy's saying. I just saw a dude strike out 12 guys in 5 innings, and you guys are telling me this isn't even a quality start. Like, history will not record this as anything to be remembered. It's just sort of like 5 bullpen innings.
It was a big nothing. It wasn't a win. It wasn't a loss. No decision. No quality start. It's like, meh, thanks for coming.
Un peo.
Exactly. He
Wow,
nailed it.
there it is.
He nailed it. That's exactly what it was. Un peo en el viento.
Okay, there it is. Thank you, guys. It's a wonderful.
Well said.
It's a wonderful transition. Tony, excellent work by you. Much more efficient than you've been the rest of this week. Un peo That's right. He said a fart in Spanish, and then Billy elaborated with "in the wind." A fart
Just
in the
goes.
wind. Yes, it's just gone after that. I do want to get back to Charlie Sheen, and I do want to get back to the K-Mart situation because Billy wanted to talk about farm stores and
La
Farms.
Vaquita.
Yes.
he wants to get to it, and we will get to it because I think he wants to spend some more DraftKings money reviving farm stores all over South Florida because the little shacks, the little buildings they are empty all over the place. But I'm going to say something shocking first, Stugotz, by way of happy birthday.
Okay.
A happy 47th birthday to Lubega.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Impossible.
That can't be true.
47.
That can't be true. He's younger
Possible.
than Stugotz?
Lubega was absolutely 47 years old in video.
Younger than Austin Hooper.
He was when Mambo number 5 came out a million years ago. That is nonsense. That cannot be right. You cannot tell me that person was 25 years old that was in those videos. That was an old man. If you'd ask me what's closer to true, is Lubega closer to 47 or 77? I would say 77. This is as shocking as a birthday as we have ever had around here. This cannot be right. I'm going to say the internet's got it wrong.
Was he born in 1945?
47 years old is what I have
1947?
here.
I think he's 56. I could be wrong. I mean, I think the internet got
How
it
did you
right,
get
and
that?
we
You're
got
definitely
it wrong.
wrong. It says 47.
Fine.
For me?
Yes.
Look it up.
Where'd you get that information?
The internet. I mean, Whittingham is looking at it as well, no?
He was born in Germany?
What?
Who is this guy?
That's even more stunning.
Wow.
Born in Munich.
Who is this guy?
To a Sicilian mother and a Ugandan father.
Whoa! We need him on the show.
I thought he was Dominican.
I need to know what the facts are here. I need to know. You've given me some shocking facts, but there is no way that Lubega of Mambo number 5 is 47 years old. This has to have been something that was printed wrong on a sheet of paper. We read the internet wrong. We did some math wrong.
I owe some money here. He is indeed 47. He's from Munich. I mean,
we know that.
Steve
already.
Martin also.
well, I mean, how much do I owe?
So his middle
$2.
name is Lubega. It's Lubega, one word. That's his middle name, Lubega.
No.
Yeah, his name's David Lubega
It's shocking.
Balamezi.
This is
Sicilian mother.
this is an avalanche of shocking facts.
Pull out the cash.
Lubega is not what he seems.
So he was 24 when Mambo number 5
There's
came
no
out.
way. There's simply no way. This is not factual. This is a distortion of pandemic math and time. I do not believe what you guys are telling me. I believe there's going to be a prank at the end of this, or there's going to be a reveal in which you guys said, no, we were reading the internet wrong. Lubega is actually 87 years old. He's not 47. We were off by 40 years.
His hair is thinning. Like, there's a significant amount of thinning hair. I'm going through the video of Mama number 5. I think part of it was that video. A lot of it was shot in black and white. He's wearing a very ornate suit. The mustache. It is stunning to me that he's 24 years old in this video. Stunning.
We are going to gather ourselves as a show
I don't know what to
because
do.
Well, you could just be confused and dizzy and made crazed by what this fact, I guess it's a fact, is. But Billy, what are you trying to do with DraftKings and now farm stores?
Well, farm stores are still on the DL. Okay, DL. So listen, here's a situation. Yesterday we were in a sales meeting, and we just said like we're working on another Moss Miami. Part of it was there's people coming down, and along with that we're trying to figure out a date, whatever. But you need to do like site visits to see like is this a place that's adequate for what this is. And we were talking about K-Mart yesterday, and I told Tony, we should do this in the K-Mart on 8th Street on 122nd that's just abandoned. Now there's no electricity, there's no air conditioning, but we can get
That doesn't
generators
matter,
or
though.
something. Yeah,
That doesn't matter.
and then we just turn it into like a massive club.
Yes.
And there's plenty of parking, and we can do like the Shaq Funhouse situation that he did, where he had that
Every
like in a giant
weekend.
warehouse. Well, every weekend is a bit much. I mean, we could buy it and then we could turn it into like a club and we could rent it out as like a space for weddings or whatever. We just obviously have to get rid of the big K on the front of it. But don't you think it would be a good idea to have a K-Mart, Dan, where we do the next Moss and then we put like a Ferris wheel or something inside of it and we have different stands and we make it just like a giant
Can we get the
party?
Himalaya inside?
Are you guys want to
don't
make
know.
it the youth fair?
Maybe.
You guys want to make it an amusement park, a roller coaster?
I mean, don't you want? I thought that's what you've always wanted these Moss events to be, like a big carnival thing. So
Yeah,
like,
with elephant
why don't we
ears.
have games? Yeah, indoors though, and then we don't have to worry, rain or shine. We know that Moss is going to happen right there, 8th Street and 122nd Avenue, inside of the abandoned Kmart.
well, rain or shine, that one always scares me around here because we have to do this outdoors.
Well, we won't. Kmart has a roof, as far as I know. I don't know what
We
it
can
looks
make a
like.
retractable roof in the Kmart.
Wow.
Oh, what are you
People
guys
don't see the
talking
vision.
about?
People don't see the vision. That's the problem.
What are you talking about?
Well, we're not going to own the building. We're just leasing it for the night for now.
Well, I mean, when we own the building, we make a retractable
Okay,
roof on
enough
it.
with this. Enough with
So you don't
this.
like the idea of Kmart? Don't listen to
just-
Tony.
I'm gonna
Tony
call
just
Feldman.
Tony-
Tony,
I'm gonna
no,
call
dude,
Feldman.
you're not going to call Feldman. That's the problem. You're not going to call
All
Feldman.
right, we're
He'll
gonna
get it done though.
Yeah, he will.
He'll get a roofer.
We're working on some other stuff too. I'll talk to him.
Tony, you need to shut up, okay? This week you've been a runaway train, and you can't be trusted.
He does nothing but cause headaches, I'm learning very quickly.
I
And
said
like,
Tony.
on
Not
air, he
true.
likes to be the life of the party over here. But I'm trying to figure out the situation with Lewis. He's cramped in that little tiny corner over there. There's 4 monitors. I go, why don't we just put those on the wall right there? And then you'll have a ton of room.
Because we can't
And
do
then
that.
they're like, oh, well, talk to this person, talk to that person, go talk to Hildy, talk to Bob. And everyone's like, well, it's up to you guys. If you guys want to do it, we could do it. I'll get someone drill holes in the wall. And then we get to Tony, and he's like, it's impossible. We can't do it. This is the guy that stops everything, Dan, including this show, with his stupid-ass list of pizzas.
Where's your list, by the way?
Dan wants to talk. Stop interrupting.
Tony, I'm gonna have to come up with a new punishment here of some sort because he likes going to the beach and taking his shirt off.
So do I.
I have to do something about he does not have a good governor yet on his yammering, and he's too confident. He's a little too confident, delusionally confident, and I need to get a way to rein him in because he just took a Moss event at a Kmart and put a retractable dome on it and yelled, "You don't see the vision." And I cannot have Wednesdays influenced so much by this clown show in the corner, Billy, that you are being, because no, you're gravitating to their rebellion and you're spending company money and DraftKings relationships on nonsense. Like
Well,
you're,
not yet.
Well, you're trying to. You've been foiled. Like at the Super Bowl, it was going to be a houseboat and a mansion.
a good idea.
And
That would have been great. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
We had plans for that Super Bowl that didn't work out. At one point, I don't know if you even know this. At one point, one of the things that we discussed is we found this website, and by we I mean Hildy because she does all the work. Hildy found this website where you could just rent the storefronts of stores, and we were thinking of just doing a show one day, like in the storefront on display in a window, just looking out at like Rodeo Drive or whatever. Like people buy mannequins and place ads there. We talked about buying mannequins and just having them dressed up like you and Stugotz and then putting a sign, sending them somewhere. But then another conversation was, what if we just did the show from a storefront window and didn't tell anyone and just had passerbys in Chris Whittingham's language just kind of come across the show?
okay, I'm glad that
It's when I started joining the sales meetings, Dan.
and this is when he teamed up with Feldman and is like, let's throw all the money into the sky. And then I look up and Billy and Hildy are looking at yachts. And I'm like,
That's happening. We can't get into that yet. That is happening.
exciting, yeah.
And the floating mansion, unfortunately, is no longer for rent. But we've moved on and we've found very suitable replacements for something that we're working on, and maybe check it out this
wait,
fall.
what happened? What happened to the floating mansion? Because there was I saw there were some tax liability
Yeah, that was the
issues.
one.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
The one.
But for people who don't know, off of Star Island, there has been it's like a $5 million boat that looks like a cube home. It doesn't look like a boat. It looks like it's just floating around like a house.
It looks awesome.
And you were trying to rent that, but that is no longer for rent?
I think that it's no longer for rent because I think, and I don't know anything, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I think that what's happening, just based on the fact that it's been parked behind this house on Star Island for a while, and the house was like bulldozed, and now it's like an empty lot. I think the people that own that are now living in that while they build their mansion, but I don't know that. I just know that that one's not available to us currently. But if you want, well, actually, I'm not going to tell you the secrets because I don't want anyone else, and I'm getting angry texts from Hildy saying stop telling everyone our secrets.
All right, so yes, there it is. The secrets.
Okay,
that's why you were saying shh at the beginning of
That's
this.
for farm stores. We'll get into that when we get into that.
Well, no, this is where I wanted to go, though, because I don't know how much of the audience, I don't know sometimes whether things are regional or national. This happens to me a great deal, whether it's a Publix grocery store or a Carvel ice cream store. I don't know. You're telling me that these little La Vaquitas from our childhood, was that a national thing or was that a regional thing? These little shacks that you could pull up to and just get a gallon of milk without going into a store. You could just sort of you could pull up and get a loaf of bread. Is this still in business somewhere around here in South Florida?
There are a few locations, and I'm now. Oh wow, color me shocked. I'm on the Farm Stores website, which Farm Stores is what it's called, right? But their
It's not
logo.
called La Vaquita?
No, they seem to be everywhere. There's one in Kentucky, in Louisville. There's one in Georgia. Well, I mean, just on this map. Oh, there's one in Houston. We could have done something there. There's one that seems to be. I don't know if that's Indianapolis or Cincinnati. No, that might be Kentucky. I don't know.
It's basically like a closet. It's just a closet. It's a very tiny store.
It's a drive-up like convenience store where you can get like a 2-gallon Coke for like $6.50, but it's cold. It's like kind of priced up and it's somewhat expensive.
It's for the convenience.
But there's the convenience of driving
yeah.
up, and you can drive up on both sides. You go one side or the other side, and then they have like 1 or 2 poor workers inside that are just going back and forth, jumping, trying to figure out who got here first, who got here second, and then you go and you help them get their gallon of milk or whatever it is that they get. It's called Farm Stores, but their logo was a cow. So down here in Miami, they called it La Vaquita, which is the cow.
The small cow.
The small cow.
We had one of those in my town growing up. It was called the Dairy Barn. So I think it's a national thing. Like you just drive through it quickly. There are 2 lanes. You pick one. You go to the front. You go to the back. You get some milk. You're out.
It's very small. It's a very shrunken shack of a grocery store.
Yeah.
It's not even. It's like as if you were to take even a gas station and shrink it about by 9/10.
It's tiny. There's basically 2 lanes, and this exists in like the width of like a 3rd lane. And somehow in that little tiny space, they have everything that you would ever need. I don't know where they keep it
Well,
or
that
how
was
they
always
get
the
it there.
confusing part.
It's
See, this is
strange.
the magic of the place. I don't know if Stugotz gets to have a La Vaquita there. That sounds like a bigger store than the one we're talking about. I believe that what Billy's talking about here is sort of built by immigrant grit, where you could find a mechanic in there that will fix your car on the spot. You will find somebody who could make a boat out of toilet parts.
Anything you need, and it's the size of like a storage shed that you would like see at Home Depot.
And I don't think you can
It's
go
tiny.
inside either. It's
No, you
only
can't go
drive
inside.
No,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's
Get out of
no
here.
room.
Crazy. Yeah.
There's barely room for the 2 employees, maybe room only for 1 employee. And oh my God, did he just go to the bottom of a well to get a buzzsaw? How do they have everything in this store that you could possibly need?
It's incredible. Unfortunately, a lot of them down here at least have since closed. So there's some that are still functioning, but they've closed. However, the buildings still exist, and they're just there.
And you can always tell which one is a Vaquita.
Oh yeah, of course.
You
It
can
has
drive
a-
by and be like, oh, that was one.
Well, there's no
RIP.
other building that's that size. It's like the size. It's really like the size of a shed. Some of them I've seen have been turned into things where like flower vendors, I guess, somehow have rented them and they store their flowers in there because I guess there's AC. But there are
Well, there's
also
the
ones-
freezer. They have the cooling system. That was
Yeah.
one of the amazing things about such a small space is that you could get frozen items as well as like stuff that'll fix the roof of your house.
What are you doing to my Dairy Barn, by the way? You're making it seem like it's, like you walk in, it's a grocery store. You can't get out of your car. It was tiny, man.
What I'm doing to your dairy barn is assuming that it comes from privilege. I'm assuming that if you had a tiny convenience store, what it was more than anything is convenience. Whereas I view ours as sort of an all-purpose. There's an all-purpose
Right.
concession stand where you can also get like paperwork that allows you to move freely
Things
around
notarized.
other
Yeah, there's a
countries.
notary
there
there
for sure,
Yeah. Definitely a 3 American situation here.
Mine was only 2 stories with an elevator.
See,
With an elevator.
How long was that?
Dairy bar.
30 minutes.
Yeah. Let's do like 5 to 10 more. Well, you can take 5 minutes though.
Billy wanted to make one of the Vaquitas his office and work from it. That's where we can go if you want, Dan.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, so you brought this up. Like, what was the purpose of it?
I mean, the dream is to buy one and then have it be my office.
Can we all buy one and work from separate places?
like
So you basically want to turn La Vaquita into WeWork.
Yeah, but only
just
for one
for me.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
for
for
one
me.
person.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so only for one person.
I
You
will tell you this. I mentioned La Vaquita once before on the show, and then someone reached out to me and asked me, "What's the location of the one that you're thinking of?" Because I've been wanting to buy one to turn it into something. And I was like, I've said too much.
Because someone's going to take your
there's
idea
sharks
now?
out there that are circling with similar ideas to turn these little drive-through things into something. That's why I need to stop talking.
Billy, real estate in this market has gone crazy. If you could buy 10 outposts all over the place that are just a tiny shack of WeWork.
Just wait for marijuana to become legal down here. Then you're on to something. Drive-through weed shops. How about that?
The end game, Spence, is a office, your personal office that you're retiring to late in life, or soon you want to work from an office that is a reformed Vaquita.
I mean, as soon as possible, if I can. I mean, it's really one of those things where you just take the opportunity when it comes, right? Like, there's no necessary age when it's that, but if you get that office, you make it your own office, have people come over. Like,
I know what's
imagine
happening here.
What's happening?
I know what's happening here. What he wants to do is work closer to home and not be with us. That's what he's trying to do.
But Billy, I think it'd be pretty cool if one day you decided. I think in concept and idea, I think you'll get sad when you realize there's no air conditioning and you're just in a hollowed out building. That's tiny off the side of a highway, and people are just kicking up dust and pebbles as they
Internet
drive
might be
past
in
you.
trouble.
There's a Sedano's right next to me. I gave away the location now.
But if you,
I know exactly where it is.
Hang on a second.
Billy,
Saying that there's a
stop.
Sedano's near does not give anything away in
That-
South Florida.
I know
That could
exactly
be
where it is
a
now.
90-mile radius of places.
This particular one, and like when I say this, people that drive by it will know exactly. Well, they already know. But this particular one on the not a marquee, but whatever the sign is, where you put on like the letters, says remodeling reopening in 2014. It's been 8 years that it said the same thing.
I can't believe that as a landmark, it's
I
near,
can't wait for the
it's-
reopening.
It's near a Sedano's.
8 years in the making.
It's like the least helpful thing you could possibly say to people.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
Billy, on the website, is this a flourishing business? They're in more places than we thought, but you were just you were mentioning sort of outposts. Like, are there many in Kentucky, or there's one in Kentucky?
There appears like there's many in the South Florida area. There's one in Kentucky, a couple in Atlanta, one in Houston. In the Northeast, there's a bunch in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. There's a couple up there. I don't know if that's Connecticut. Yeah, there's some up there. It's just kind of scattered on the East Coast, it looks like.
But have you ever seen one modern day? Because I drive
Yeah, next
by.
to Papa John's, I go sometimes because Papa John's, that's the whole Pepsi situation. On Bird Road, yeah, there's one right next to Papa John's, and I don't want Pepsi, and I don't know why Papa John's switched from
hate
Coke
when
to
that
Pepsi.
happens, yeah.
I don't know what that's about. So sometimes if I need some cold Coca-Cola, I'll go through the drive-through. That's kind of the trick, because that Papa John's is a drive-through. You ever do drive-through Papa John's? It's incredible. And it's a lot quicker. It's colder. It's right by Lorenzo's parents' house. So what you do is you go on the Papa John's app or website, and I have a bone to pick with the app, because the situation with the app is I've gotten locked out of the app, and I had a lot of Papa points that lead to like cash back, but I can't get in. But the email that I use is an old email that I don't have access to anymore, and I don't want to use my Papa points. So I can't redeem my $10 off because I got a new phone and it logged out of all my apps. And I can't do reset password because it sends it to an email that doesn't exist anymore. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place with Papa John's, the Papa John's app, the Papa Points, because I have to order on the app. Then I go to the pickup. I save the delivery fee. I get it ready half an hour sooner than if it was delivery. I don't have people knocking on the door, waking up my kid, and having my dogs go crazy. And then I go to Farm Store and I get the Coca-Cola right next to it. It's a whole thing.
Billy, I need to.
I'm exhausted hearing about Billy's
Imagine
life.
being in my brain.
This is not helping my hangover.
Well, this is why I need to just rein you in a little bit here, because I need to explain the audience.
He's on a roll,
in the
Dan.
event they don't know what's happened here, it's not just that Lewis and Tony are bad influences. It's not just that he wants to spend all of the company's monies at K-Marts and farm stores. It's also that, and I think Billy's imbalanced here, or something has happened to short circuit him, because you mentioned your phone, Billy, and your phone yesterday died, or when did your phone die? And the serenity that came in, Stugotz, says he was alone with, and not thinking about his fears, or like what happened with your phone dying that gave you a moment of peace, because now you're crazed again. You're running hot. You're manic.
My phone died on my birthday, which was not ideal in terms of like people reach out to you on your birthday and it's rude to not get back. So my phone died on my birthday and it was dead for like 6 to 8 hours. It was incredible until I turned it back on. And then I had 80 something texts and I had a bunch of emails that I needed to get to.
Yeah.
But for those like 6 to 8 hours, oh my God, I didn't even think about it. I didn't look at it. It was incredible. I want it to die more often, honestly, if possible.
On your birthday, though, that seems like a bad time for that to happen.
Yeah.
That
People
seems,
think you're being rude.
Well,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming that a lot of people you have a lot of just leave me alone. So
Me?
Is your
I feel
birthday
I'm very approachable.
No, you're not.
is your birthday then something that you got 6 or 8 hours, because now I don't have to answer? I can picture your birthday being a string of neuroses, because I didn't answer so and so's text, now somebody else expects an answer, and a whole bunch of overthinking on connecting with people you don't want to connect with.
What happened was it was the classic, you fall asleep, you forgot to plug in your phone, and then you're driving, and I was using Waze, so that drained my whole battery. On the way to where we were going, my wife said, for your birthday, let's do something nice, and she booked like a couples massage, right? So we went there, and my phone died. I had to put my phone in like a locker, and then it died because Waze was going, and then I was trying to send out texts like, hey, I'll get back to you in a couple hours, whatever. And then there's no service, so it just kept trying to resend it. So it drained the battery died. So I couldn't answer to anyone for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then we did like the nice couples massage. I have a question for you guys about massages while we're talking about phones. I have a question for you about massages. I was told that I fell asleep and was snoring in the massage, the couples massage.
Yeah.
Does that happen to anyone
that
else?
happens.
Is that like rude? Because I feel like that's somewhat of a compliment.
Rude. Yes.
Rude. What do you mean?
That is you. I'm stunned that you get so relaxed that you fall asleep, not wearing very much, in a way that's so serene that you're snoring because someone has beaten the tranquility into you.
Exactly, while somebody is touching you.
I'm stunned that you fall asleep. Many people do. I do. I'm surprised that you do.
I feel like I'm missing the massage, though, if I fall asleep during the massage,
It's
Like,
never happened before.
Right.
It was the first time it happened,
Right.
and my wife told me that I was snoring and that she laughed, but that the masseuses were very professional.
Well said.
And they didn't, they just kind of kept going. Which I guess, like, if I do fall asleep in a regular massage, like, the person conducting the massage could just stop, right? And then
Yeah.
just say, like, hey, time's up. And
That's
then
what I would
it.
do.
Yeah. What's the point?
He was already looking at the angle for the scam. He's like, man, do you know how much money there is around people falling asleep, and then I can run into another room? If only I had. He's trying to figure out how to become a superhero, could just make people fall asleep, to think that they've had an hour massage when he's only worked for 2 minutes.
10 minutes in, they fall asleep. I go out for a few heaters, come back 40 minutes
Oh,
later,
The
boom.
champagne that was dedicated to him.
I love you. Go to
Masseuse man.
It is. It's such a useless superhero. He shows up, and his superpower is that he can make you think that 2 minutes were 58.
Now imagine this business being conducted in a drive-through farm stand.
Oh, wow.
Wow.